Welcome everyone to the 8th and final week of the regular season for Auzom Premier League NA edition. My name is Cameron Davis and I'm joined by a little fuzzy seal. We are going to have some 4 amazing games today. Again, this is the last week. The finals are this weekend, and so this is the last chance any and all of these teams have to solidify their spot on the leaderboards before we go into the finals.
Yeah, there's quite a few teams at the top that have pretty much solidified their chance, as you said. But once you get past the top 4, that's when it starts to get a lot more murky. So we'll definitely be looking at the guys below the top 4 to see if they can, number 1, solidify themselves a good spot, or number 2, even make it in. A couple of guys in lobby 2, if they do well enough, could make their way to skyrocket into the finals. That do happen, as you said, this Saturday.
Yes, it is important for the teams at the bottom, particularly the bottom 2 or 3 or 4 teams, to really make sure that they have good games this week, this series, so that they don't fall down and miss the mark just barely. However, that doesn't mean that that's only important for them. This is important for everyone in this game, because it is actually important based off of where you end up in the regular season. That will give you extra points going in to the final series. It's not all kind of reduced back to 0 during the finals. First place totality, they want to keep that first place.
Yeah, definitely very important for everyone involved. That being said, that's a lot of the meta-analysis stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and start talking about this game. We had a west to east flight plan with Georgia Pool around to Lepavka split. Over here is Wild. Oh, who's driving that UAZ into the... Wait. Oh, watch out there, buddy. Who is driving this thing? Wildcard having a little bit of trouble with the UAZ, but they're playing it nice and safe, and that's definitely necessary. We do see a couple of shots coming in from their north. So it looks like with their a bit of a shaky start here, but Wildcard should be able to drive away without too much trouble.
I don't know. Your boy Dre hopped in a vehicle, has a teammate with him, and they're chasing after kickstarting his friend.
What?
Yeah, we know Tempo Storm like to play around this area. They took those initial shots on the UAZ. You saw the serpentine happening on that beach to avoid those shots, but they're continuing on this run. Don't know if Dre and BenQ5 are going to stick on it. Looks like they may just be hopping into this compound to continue their trash looting up. The boy Dre is going to drop his teammate off and continue to go his merry way.
That's a lot of buildings for BenQ5. I'm wondering where your boy Dre is going. You know, if you're not going to Yaz and that sort of quarry split area, there can be some members from either Totality or Wildcard sort of piddling around here. They have to be very careful if they do decide to loot that western coast. Meanwhile, though, rest of the zone, looks like we have our first kill. Huin getting someone down with the M16.
Yeah, really good pickup on Ayazawa there. Looks like at this first circle, it's kind of a split circle. Not really. It's it is most likely
not really. Probably mainland.
Probably mainland, but still like that sneaking sort of. Maybe it could have a second circle hard shift straight south. Who knows? We may see. So it's kind of more just I really no one's gonna hope that, because no one's
that's a nightmare fuel, man.
Yeah, no one's looting up military base or Novo, and so no one's gonna be there on the loot spots to just kind of chill out. Everyone's gonna have to make that transition if that is the case, but we're gonna see if that's gonna happen later on in this game. Right now, it is still your usual loot phase. Everyone's finally getting to their looting spots, and so we're gonna have, after that first kill, of course, probably a little bit of downtime before the action starts up once again, overlooking Cloud9 right now, as they have the entirety of North Georgia all to themselves. This is going to be a lot of loot for them.
Yeah, so this is gonna be Cloud9 right now, probably a name that everyone's relatively familiar with. This is gonna be Squad 10. They'll remain that way for the rest of the night. So if you're ever looking for your favorite team, the little 10 showing up here on the minimap is the team you're looking for. Also, the guys, they are currently in 8th place. It's pretty much dead in the middle of our top 16 split. But with how sort of close the global points are, especially between the top 5 as well as all the way down to the 11th place, there is a significant amount of wiggle room that is had for these groups. So they're going to need to be honestly playing their butts off today, because there's a lot that they could gain by just a small difference in placement compared to these other teams.
Yeah, for Cloud9 to make it all the way into first place in 4 games, they'd have to be pulling off a massive performance, but they could still climb quite high, perhaps even break into the top 4. Top 5 is already very doable.
Ooh, look at that. God Squad getting themselves military, yeah.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. They made that long transition over. It's only 3 of them, though. Little Prodigy, you can see, is still stuck north of Farm. Don't know if that was because lack of vehicles or because he got sandwiched between a couple of players of Ghost to his south immediately. Not comfortable making that long transition, but nonetheless, he is staying up on the mainland. It's also a good decision, though, because, as we pointed out, this circle is most likely going to end up staying on the
Yeah.
mainland. So having someone there it's the same reason why you send scouts out. Having someone there to kind of stake the initial flag down for the rest of the team to follow up could be quite useful.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. God Squad, oftentimes their problem is they're stuck playing edge way too much, and they just take a lot of fights, especially with their loss of Sharp Shot. They're pretty much their premier fragger, sniper, playmaker guy. With the loss of him, they can't really afford to be playing edge as much. So getting a compound secured early on, mixed up with a great amount of early loot from Military Island, that should put them in a pretty good spot to get them a good placement, as long as the players that are stuck on Military Island can safely get past teams like Ghost, get through farm, and get to Little Priority's hold.
So right now we see the transitionals start to come on in. Totality's coming in from the west. You got EU United coming in from the northeast. Everyone's trying to get a little central. You can see there's a little bit of presence down in the more southern area of the first island, just in case they do have to make that transition
over.
Crash? It's a drive-by.
Looks like no, this is a crash. They're here.
This is here. Definitely heard that car pull up, and it's going to be the two members of Set to Destroy pushing in. This, don't know if he wants to get out or not. Looked like he was eyeing that. Oh, nope. Peeking up the side. VTV spots him. Doesn't take any shots just yet, but they've definitely heard him launch himself out of that window.
Oh, yeah, look at this. And there's so at this point, Sharu and VTV have the building, but VTV vaulting out the window as well. Look at this. It's one of the most deadly games of Ring Around the Rosie you've ever seen. Biz, though, falling back. Ooh, getting shot in the back, not keeping his angles in check. Sharu getting that kill and will be claiming this very centralized compound for Set to Destroy.
Yeah, just got caught with a slight angle when they checked it through the window at the really unfortunate timing for him, and that is going to be a compound takeover. Sometimes why people don't even like leaving that one player there, because if it just gets crashed by two, then it gets taken out. Let's see what's in this. It's an AUG. It's probably the most disappointing weapon to find in a crate.
Hey, speak for yourself.
It's
I had a really
weapon.
good game.
I just mean in context of what else you could have gotten in a crate.
Yeah, like an M249. It's not an M249. I completely agree. So let's look at this zone though real quick, because I'm looking around and it looks like the same thing that happened to Set to Destroy's new compound has been happening all around, even in areas that aren't in compounds. Specifically to the north, we see Team Gates as well as EU United very close together atop this sort of the spine as well as Potato Hill split. And this is going to make it a lot harder for teams that are coming in late to actually move past them. These aren't compounds, there aren't any windows, which means a lot more open space. Teams that are driving by here late with their vehicles will have a lot more trouble getting past these teams safely without getting shot at.
United, you can see I am mini map, or the full map at this point, taking some shots onto VTV and his teammate after they took that pretty central strong compound right now, but they're not going to be pushing on that one. They're just going to be taking their usual space right now. There's really no reason to full commit onto a fight this early into a game if it's not, as we saw earlier, for a compound, for a preferred spot in the circle just yet. Let's see. Is this the AUG box?
Yeah, let's see if Kate agrees with you. Is he going to be sad and disappointed? Some players actually don't take the auger for the M4. Is he going to take it? Oh, he does have a scar, though. So, yeah, definitely grabbing that AUG. I've actually been using this gun a little bit lately. What it's really, really good at, Cammy, is tapping. It has almost no side-to-side. So if you just tap it very quickly, you can put a lot of shots in the same spot. And with that increased damage, it's gonna be very, very good at dealing with some long-range just window peaks.
Check shooter here from Envious, running across, see if we can't grab any shots onto Totality as they drive past. Not too many land, but if anything, it does continue to scare them off. Peacocking a little bit, warning them to go away, find somewhere else. They do find another compound not too far away, close to the coast as well.
Peacocking, that's actually a really appropriate term as well. I like that. But oh, look at where Nova's pulling up here, right next to United. Lognarv is going to continue driving. This seems a little bit much, especially because there's only two here. Landoon there behind the tree, currently, I'm not going to say cowering, but is not going to be at all willing to peek the form of United. Nova's reinforcements are coming over, but very, very interesting place to pull up here.
It seems that they're pinned down in a way. They don't want to have to move out. Maybe Landu, maybe he fell off his bike or something. I don't know how he ended up behind that tree. The rest of his teammates, they're just driving past. They're leaving him behind. They say, you know what? You put yourself in this situation. You can get yourself out of it. Bye.
Yeah, Lognarv actually dropped him off there. So he just did the drive. I said, okay, this is your spot now. You like it? Okay, I hope so, because we're gonna be going over to Potato Hill. But once again, they're driving around here, making a lot of noise. Team Gates knows that they're here. Nova seeming like they're not quite sure of where they want to go or how they want to get there. But while they're trying to figure that out, they're getting pretty split up, locking up at the base of the hill. Landoon getting pinned up at United, and 2 members still further north down the hill. Nova in a pretty split up spot right here.
It's not that bad of a time in the game to be in a spot like this.
Mhm.
Here goes Landoon on the footsie run. Geis is looking away from that, and so he should be able to get out of there. The problem is, though, they're going to need to all get grouped up in time for the first circle when it closes, and they do seem to be able to do that because you can see just how far away the blue still is.
Yeah, and keeping in mind as well, the blue zone is sort of artificially shortened or shrunk right now because of the fact that Military Island currently exists. You don't even see on the map because it's not really going to be relevant. It's probably not going to be in the following zones, which means that all of this space besides looting is pretty much moot. So all these guys are trying to cram themselves into this small farm area, trying to grab as much real estate as they can earlier on. And if you're showing up late, like if you're not one of these 6 or 7 or so teams that are here already, you're probably going to be in for some really, really awkward compound pushes, hilltop fights, something weird going on to try to just force your way into the mid and late game.
Wildcard Gaming here, continuing their run, staying off the road so they don't get shots easily thrown at them. Good pathing by them. Also, good amount of vehicles as well. This is basically the perfect configuration of vehicles. That being said, I just realized Pride was on a 3-seater, not a 2-seater. But excluding that, 3 UAZs and a bike for scouting is pretty much the staple vehicle configuration.
Car forts and scouts. They did also fix the teleporting sidecar, so it's back to being its normally garbage state. It'll actually just straight up murder you if it feels like it anymore.
Yeah, it's still terrible, but it's not as terrible. It's not.
It's not negative EV.
Yeah, it's not call the cops terrible. So the first circle should be closing soon. Everyone's making those final transitions. It's a little tight up here in the north as these final teams going to be making their route through. Could be a little rough for Wheaties Box Rejects as they drive close to another team. It is going to be Render Esports, but they're not stopping there. But instead, they may be going directly into Nova. See how this pathing works out, stopping ahead of that as well, swinging around the side of that hill. So Nitrogen,
good pathing so far, but he's getting pretty close to Render. He's done good to not get killed as of now, but he's coming back the way he came, realizing he doesn't really have enough options to get through here. He's not dead yet, so very good at Nitrogen, but he's kind of realizing at this point, okay, I can't go this way because Nova's here. I can't go that way because Render's there. Where can I really go? And what Nitrogen is going through is kind of the same that a lot of these edge squads will be going, but pulling up at apartments right next to It's Imagine, realizing he's a bit late, pulling off as well. There's just so many people are just like, where do I go? What do I do?
They both just pulled off of each other at the same time, and I think that scared Nitrogen away, maybe even fully out of it. He may have thought that was just a late arrival to where another squad already
I think they both thought that.
Yeah, they both thought that. You see that happen multiple times, and it happened to happen there as well. Team Gates here finding that low spot on the north part of the hill. Not a great starting spot, but look at this next circle. It is going to be a hard swing north, but it's a hard swing onto the majority of where players already are because, as I mentioned earlier, no one's in military base outside of those 3 players.
So Team Gates actually was on Potato Hill where Envious currently find themselves. So actually pulled back from that, grabbed a slightly less centralized spot. But if you look at this sort of Potato Hill, it kind of cuts the 2 zones in half, right? A lot of teams will have to go past this area in some way if you're coming from the farm area on the south, and that's where most of the teams are. Meanwhile, where Team Gates have gone, yeah, it's like less centralized. Yeah, it's less tactically sound, but there's less people over there on that northern side.
Oh boy, Teflon here is by himself, and the rest of Ghost are arriving against him. Balak, you can see he's driving away. Don't know. I think that's just to adjust his vehicle because the rest of Ghost, they're sticking around and he's adjusting himself. Don't know if he wants to try and escape from this or even try and scare them off, but he looks like he's getting perhaps back in his buggy to drive away because he recognizes that he's in a 1v4. This is not a good situation for him to be in.
Good job, Teflon. Even driving properly so that Ghost can't get any shots on him. He's going to be able to get away somewhere, but there's a lot of players nearby that are looking for his blood. He's going to need to sneak by the boys at Pachinki. That is going to be Duel on the west, Envious to the east, as well as Team Gates to the north. Can he thread the needle here? Is this even possible?
It's possible. You can see Jesse Lowell. He's having to run to see if he can't grab a quick angle onto Teflon. That tree coverage is also enough to help him avoid that team to the west on the edge of that field, and so he's going to be able to make it through, not taking a lick of damage. A couple of angles were spotted on him at the end, but I wonder where he's going to go. Perhaps group up with his teammate Nitrogen, who ended up back in apartments,
Oh.
but he's driving past Nova, but so is Tempo Storm. Bo Drake goes down.
Yeah, BenQ5 driving away as well. Gonna be veering off to the northwest, right into Render. It's looking like they're a little bit too late to find themselves a comfortable home, and are instead just getting lit up by teams that are already in position on all different angles. And this is kind of the story when you get these farm-esque circles. When everyone's already in position, it's so hard to find yourself a spot late in game. And yep, there he is. The UAZ going up in flames, loot injection up, going for the guys on Space Station Gaming.
I think it's just Zampa left from Tempo Storm. And for a team that usually comes in as late as they do, I'm surprised they ended up on the opposite side of the map from where they came in. So a little bit of, I guess, an aggressive maneuver to try and go to a central position. And you can see here, they got punished for it, down to 1, maybe 2, but I'm pretty sure it's just 1 player left.
Not sure where he is, but definitely, as you said, losing 2 players, not a good start for any team. Looking around, though, it looks like most of our teams have made it inside the circle at least, so probably not going to be too much more movement. The groups that I'm looking at for being like, all right, what are you going to do? What's your next play? Is probably on the southwest side, God Squad. Oh my goodness, this was a little Prodigy who's not even in the zone yet. Does he have a boat? What is your plan here, my friend?
Was Prodigy the player that was on the main
Yeah,
island?
he was. What is this transition that he was doing?
Well, he's making a long transition down. I don't know if this is a way because of a way to pick up some extra loot that he wasn't able to fill his pockets with by trying to play as a solo up on the mainland, surrounded by full squads. He could be hopping from these tiny little compounds, as well as making a long transition over to the rest of his team. He's going to be taking some damage for it, but I'm sure he's going to have the meds for it. The first couple of circles are usually okay to be eatable, but look at this next circle. Another hard swing to the west on top of Pochinki, and this puts K-Mine and the rest of Duel in a really interesting spot that they can choose to either rush into Pochinki and hold it off from there, or even just hold this hill off and take as many shots, deal as much damage as they can.
Looks like that might be what Nova's doing, actually, as they're making their way here through the north. Really, really good transition so far. They're not taking too much fire. They haven't lost anyone yet, so they will be able to cover on this hill. It looks like they're heading over toward Pochinki. Very, very good pathing. Very good driving as well. We're seeing a couple of bikes as well as sidecars. Uh-oh, Locknard. Landoon as well. Oh, there's 2 people in there. They can't really afford this. They're getting lit up from different sides as well. Not good for them.
Richie's at full health, though. He wonders why Landoon stopped. But Landoon's going to go up in flames with Pentolol. Znark is going to do the final shot to drop it. Richie now down as well. Left out open in the open field. Luckily for them, the other 2 members of Nova made their way in, but they were way split from each other, and there was more people arriving. Mossy gets dropped from Team Gates by Cloud9 as they're still grouped up as 4 in a nice spot to, as well as Duel punish arrivals to Pochinki.
Wow, despite that, still more teams trying to make their way into the zone. We see the Southside God Squad grabbing the hill that Totality had left, but wide transition on the west side. Potato Hill held by both Envious as well as United pushing from the east. United does not have to push here, but at the same time, it looks like Envious knows there's someone over there. They're keeping the rifles trained that way, and they're looking for the opening pick here on the defense of Potato Hill.
The problem is if they don't push now when the next circle reveals itself, unless it's on top of them, they're going to have to make a transition. And if they don't take out this team ahead of them or at least force them away, that's going to make that transition even harder. And so while they may not go for a full rundown on them, they definitely want to put pressure and try and gain some map control. Because right now, the map control that they have is very, very small.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely like more of a defensive. We can transition behind this ridge rather than we can kill everyone going around us. But this zone, there's still a lot of teams that are sort of trolling the edge, trying to find their way in, especially on the northeast side. Look at this. We see Space Station getting transitioning to the north, but right there is Shoot to Kill. It's Team 14. They're making a lot of noise with their vehicles. So at this point, Space Station knows that someone is there. And I think they're looking to take a fight as well.
Yeah, they heard the vehicles roll up instead of doing the 4-man push, spotting out some players, but I'm pretty sure they got spotted in return. And actually, it looks like they're on the retreat right now. Element of surprise not in their favor at this point, and the position that Shoot to Kill are in is difficult to push because all they had, as you saw, were those 2 rocks. And while Shoot to Kill have this entire ridge to play behind, and so Space Station Game, they figured, you know what, this isn't a good fight. We couldn't catch them off guard, for example, get an opening pick to perhaps open this up for us. And so because of that, we're now going to back off.
I agree. Very good retreat right there from Space Station, but they still have the problem of what are we going to do next? At the edge, you got to take as good fights as you can. And if you're not looking to take that many fights, you got to have another solution. South side as well, getting pretty spicy, as it does appear that Wheaty Box Rejects are the players making the late movement into Pochinki. Quite a few players are in position to try to punish this, but it looks like at least one spitting out the buggy a little bit, but should be able to make it in. Wildcard is there to the south, trying to gun him down. The buggy is smoking. He's able to take cover behind it at just the right time, but nah, not. It's gonna be CeeLo from Team Gates able to take him down. I'm pretty sure that's not even Wildcard to the south. That's someone from the north, actually, from the church, was able to land that one shot onto him.
I was wondering when that church position was going to get taken, but I also like this one wildcard. You saw Tumai there go to that compound at the far end of the field by himself to scout it out, and now the rest of the team are going to be arriving by. Oh, another hard swing, but this one's staying right on top of Pachinki, and this is going to make the Potato Mountain standoffs that we saw earlier have to speed up now because you got Space Station Gaming. They have to go through shoot to kill. Oh, United. Next, we're taking the first couple of shots. Jimmer driving past, trying to loop around, feed the needle, thread the needle, I should say, through multiple teams, down to about 35 HP. But it looks like he has made it past. The question is, can he make it any further? Because here is K-Mind right on the edge.
Oh, he's crashing.
He's crashing through it, at least. Has to continue over the field, but he's now down to 10 health. One more bullet will do the trick, but it's a fast-moving target. And nope. It is going to be him getting taken down. Bike continues to fly across, jump out open in the air. But look at everyone else trying to crash into Pachinki.
Oh, God. This is just absolutely horrifying. Look at VTV getting blindsided by Adam Did's UAZ just crashing in here. Shoot to kill. Also doing the same thing with their vehicles. You know, it's Imagine also getting a pick on the Rift. The guys that are in here set to destroy is getting absolutely annihilated right here on the eastern side of Pachinki.
Nade gonna be a nice one. It is gonna finalize that kill that already got dropped earlier. Set to destroy. X Team 13 are now down to 2 because of the crash, because of shoot to kill, as we saw earlier, just on top of Potato Mountain. Here comes the rotation, however, from Duel, making their own way over to. No, that's not Duel. It's just another similarly colored Space Station Gaming on that rotation through the field. And it's actually gonna be United Vegas, who is sharing this compound with Duel to deal some heavy damage to them.
Yeah, this is pretty bad for Space Station. We're seeing quite a few players get caught out in the middle. Totality Purdy as well. We've seen the eastern side up, Pachinki down currently. A lot of these teams on the edge have a lot of pressure to actually gatekeep teams coming in, but on right here, God Squad versus the guys on Ghost. It looks like Pistola as well as Profi already on. Pistola getting finished off here, but this hill a little bit harder to hold than they would have liked. They're actually getting shot at by players in the far northern side of the zone, so God Squad can't actually peek Ghost without receiving a lot of fire from the far northern side of the zone.
Yeah, whereas Ghosts have a little bit of a defilade, it seems, to hide and toss down a couple of smokes to make sure they safely get up that res. But even though, as you mentioned, God Squad have this hill, it is just barely outside if they wanted to play on the opposite end of it and not get shot at. But oh, look at this three squad collective in a small part of the map. We got United, we got Envious, and we have Duel all together in a triangular formation.
I was going to say a bit of a rematch, but it looks like that many teams have lost a lot of players when I get in here. The previous Potato Hill hold, those teams that were doing that have both lost at least one player each. And it looks like with Envious only having 2, they also have that Gilly are looking to play this a lot more passively, hoping that United as well as Duel, that squad 4 to their north, will kind of fight each other, and maybe at that point Envy can get something done, but they do not want to be initiating anything with only having 2 players up.
Gonna be brutal for anyone in those in that one compound though, because they got that whole entire field that they're likely going to have to cross, especially if this next circle stays on Pochinki. We'll see if it stays on Pochinki or if it goes to any of the surrounding fields, but those are the 2 locations that we have, unless it goes to the hills north. Continued push by Shoot to Kill on Set to Destroy. They got an initial knockdown and the res is coming through. But it's a 4-man train coming up the stairs. Checking the bathroom. It's going to be a full spray. Actually, it's a trade 1. And he got it. Finalized that kill.
Wow, that's actually really impressive. Either way, though, despite coming in late in Pachinki, Shoot to Kill, able to completely decimate Set to Destroy with a bunch of really interesting picks. And oh my God, definitely the right play as well. Pachinki here in game 1 is going to be the end-all, be-all for this game. These guys on the edge are going to have an absolute hell of a time trying to make their way in.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for all of them because you have all the people who are already in Pochinki. They have clear vision of everyone trying to cross these roads. There's no real clear path into the city anymore outside from the north. And as this late into the game, you don't want to make a rotation back outside into the blue in order to path up there if you're not already up there, which no one is. But EU United, they want to clear the space around them before they push into the city. And so they're going on the aggressive right now. They definitely know that Duel are here, but are they aware of NVS's arrival? I believe NVS arrived on foot quietly, but guys, first casualty is going to get dropped.
Kill steal.
No, was it a kill steal?
I'm not sure if either they got that kill, but my second pick onto room is going to open this up. United only with one up now all of a sudden. Just something as small as moving buildings has already lost one of their players for good. Another one being down. At this point, though, the element of stealth is gone. And a frag getting a lot of damage there on Jesse. They need to be careful. And the second one getting landing the result from Znark. Pretty rough for everyone who is in duel right now, Cammy.
Yeah, Duel, they heard this action going on, and they said, you know what, we're not going to let you guys win this without taking some casualties of your own. Toss a couple grenades. Able to triangulate that player's location using echolocation of the gunshots. That at the same time,
what are they, dolphins?
I'm thinking more of bats, but, you know.
Okay.
Caden getting his vehicle going on the drive across. Oh, he's actually... Is he going
wow.
Okay, yeah, he's going across the hill. He's doing a little zigzagging motion right now to try and dodge multiple shots because it's not only shots from United, but also shots from Totality. That's going to pop a couple wheels on him. He's trying to act like a push, but that's going to be his face taken off. I believe that's actually Envious all taken out now.
Yeah, it is.
We'll continue on the drive on in. United, they got to go on foot. Thankfully, Vegas was able to get the revive on his teammate, so there's still two of them, but Totality are going to continue to have a bead on that angle.
Look at this, actually. It looked like Duel was actually able to kind of get into the new zone in the nick of time, barely making the way on the northern side. Duel is, that is set to destroy, that is eyeing them in from the north. Meanwhile, on the east side, some smoke strats being used by the remnants of EU United, but they can't out-crawl the zone. Look at that, Rium, no helmet. Vegas, very little armor on him as well, getting shot at by the entirety of Totality, as well as the guys on Shoot to Kill. Man, there is absolutely no hope for these guys.
Yeah, there really isn't too much that you can hope to do in this situation. Thankfully, I believe Vegas is still alive. He's trying to heal strat through the blue at this point. Wants to wait as long as he can, hope that at least one or, you know, at max two more teams fall. But most teams outside of them and Ghost and even Duel are nice and comfortable inside the city.
Looks like Temple of Storm still somehow in. Zampa able to sneak out behind Cloud9 as Cloud9 does push into northwestern Pochinki. Looks like there are a couple of guys on Nova that are trying to make this not free, but Nova lost a lot of players early on. I think there's only one player in this building from this team, and it looks like nerf me, please. Realizing that, yeah, this is a full squad, doesn't want to commit too hard to trying to gatekeep a full squad.
Yeah, especially because the circle, it does land on him, but he's on the edge. He knows it's going to be multiple teams.
Oh!
And Ghost right now making their run across the road using multiple smokes, trying to get inside the new circle of Totality. Once again, the gatekeepers on this edge of the circle taking a couple of shots. They don't get anyone down just yet, I don't believe. And able to get inside this little hut to try and grab an angle onto them. But Balak gets taken down from Taro inside it. Nade immediately is going to get the full-on kill. But here comes Profi with the drop onto Purdy. More nades come out from Totality to try to keep them away.
This is really good from Ghost. They've even been able to get this far, but they have not done without losses. They haven't been able to get the walls of the compound. Terror getting spotted out, gunned down by Profi. Oh, not quite able to get the double kill. But now it's Tony V and Smithy versus McCoy. Can they finish this fight? Totality looks like they're going for the revive instead, though.
Ooh, that nade almost made it over. It was just barely the wrong arc, and it actually ended up getting a kill on that, unfortunately. But here comes Smithy running around the side. Terra is able to get revived, and Tony V is right here. But look at Smithy jumping across the wall to try and get the final angle. It is going to be
oh my
case.
god!
It's going to be Ghost absolutely massacred at the end, going out in 9th place. But now Totality, they have to get on the move themselves because they are no longer in the circle.
Uncivilus is actually able to sneak a kill into Totality. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to confirm that, but at the very least, I'm definitely liking the spot that Shoot to Kill has. This is Squad 14 right now. They're pretty much dead center. They have some great buildings, 2 stories, great sidelines, easy to defend as well. As long as they don't get picked off, as they are very split right now, they should be fine. But look at this. Uncivilus doesn't even care there's smoke here. He says, I know there's someone there. I'm going to keep shooting. And just like that, continues getting downs on Totality there.
That entire time, the person doing the revive was unable to get hit because of the wall. But the minute the revive came through, the revived player, his model stood up right into the line of bullets that was held out that entire time. Like, that is really the definition of unlucky.
Shrink is about halfway done. It looks like most of our teams are able to make their way in. Center of Pachinki looking very, very congested. It looks like squad 9 and 10. That's Wildcard and Cloud9 respectively in the dead center right across from Team Gates. It looks like Cloud9 was able to make it in on that little one building on the far western side. Wildcard, though, another squad that we'd definitely be looking at right now. They still have 4 up. They're in a pretty centralized spot, and they're in this little area where you can get on these roofs. So if the game progresses and the zone continues to stay here, having access to the rooftops here in Pachinko will be a huge boon for them.
It's definitely a double-edged sword, though, because if you're on the roof, you can get spotted a lot more easily than if you're inside the building. So it's going to be a decision they want to make. And also, they're pretty spread out as well, and so we have to wonder, is this going to end up biting them later? Because we've seen people in late game spread themselves too thin, but this circle is going to stay center. The center of Pachinko is actually a big giant road that cuts through the majority of it. A Wildcard immediately on the run across to try and grab themselves a little piece of the pie across the road.
So a lot of big question marks as to who is going to get the zone where. It looks like on the north side, Duel actually able to make their way in to this little set of compounds. Shoot to kill, not actually able to prevent this from happening. Wildcard as well, actually crossing the road with Tumai. A lot of pretty ballsy plays that haven't been punished at all. Teams pre-split up, but still unable to prevent some players from slipping into the cracks here and there.
So many people are still alive. I can't even tell you what circle this is, because the ratio of people to circle is not what I am used to. I can't recall how far we are, and I haven't seen this many people in a circle this late. I feel like this may even be the final circle, just looking at how small it is.
Yeah, I think we're one before that. City circles are pretty rough, though. This happens a lot when it comes to city fights.
Yeah, exactly. Terry saw tossing out a couple of smokes for him and his team to continue to make their run in. Got shot in the shoulder while doing so. He actually now gets taken down by Kickstart, who quickly finalizes that, bringing totality now down to 2.
Not actually able. The Molotov actually doing something, not able to get around the side due to the fire there. Wildcard having a very, very good hold here against Totality. They got to keep moving, but every time they sort of show themselves, Wildcard's able to get a pick on them from the southern side. And, you know, Totality, they're not in the zone. They have to cross this somehow, making the move. The smoke doing a great job. Kickstart unable to actually see through the smoke here. So Totality, excuse me, trying to get into this building, seeing the way Kickstart looking away, just the right time for them for Totality to not immediately die. But they're just making progress by inches. They're still not quite in. They need to make one more push, but where is the question?
They can even just get inside that building. That could be enough, but they need to watch to the left, though, because there's Cloud9 arriving up, and there we go. Smithy coming into this building, checking all the corners, making sure that it is not occupied already.
I think like half of it's in.
Yeah, half of it's in, so they should be okay. But here comes the push from Cloud9. They're on the roofs, as you said, trying to hide it out, but it is definitely heard by Wildcard just below them. Kickstart, he knows there's some rats in his attic.
I don't think that anyone can actually get to Cloud9 from here. I'm pretty sure the only buildings that access the roof are now currently out of the zone. So this is a great strategy from Cloud9 to be getting a good late game placement. And you know this is important. There's currently 8 teams alive, but look at that. They do not get the new zone. That instead will be going to the guys in the northeast side. Is going to be up to shoot to kill or duel to see who can get this. But look at this shoot to kill, very, very split up right now, and they're not going to be able to link up with a full squad cut between these two teams.
Yeah, that being said, and well, on the opposite end, it's Duel coming in all S4, and Sybil's trying to giving some backup to his teammate who just bailed outside of that building, gets a drop, tries to get a kill, doesn't spot the player in the corner, but does get the second drop. Able to adjust that aim. That's both K-Man and Wooly down. K-Man now fully wiped. Just Pentalow and Snark left. That smoke is going to stop any extra vision, any extra shots coming through, and so perhaps they can get the revive onto Wooly.
It looks like that during that movement, Shoot to Kill actually lost their one player to the northwest as well, so only having 2 up there as well. And a great spot centralized, but only with 2 up. There's a couple of squads that still have more than that. Meanwhile, on the far western side, this is where the big story is at. Who's going to be able to get in? If anyone, Team Gates as well as Nova just trying to sit here as long as they can. Nerf me actually going for blue tanking. I don't know if you can do that, Nerf. A lot of players not quite used to the blue damage, and yep, there it is. Nerf going down. CeeLo as well as the rest of the team gets going down to Wildcard as well, doing a great job holding this angle right here. But look at this. Oh, Totality making their movement here into Elusive, still in his sneaky spot. He can stay here for the next couple of seconds, but he's not quite able to get the down to Sharp Shot. Bloody mess wherever you look here, Cammy.
My monitor. Just
All right, I'll keep going then. So looking over here, Cloud9 actually tries to once again go for the blue tanking strat, but look, like these guys aren't used to damage. It's too much. You cannot blue tank for this circle, I don't think, at all at this point. Meanwhile, Duel still able to have 3 up, or at least 3 not dead there on the northern side. A great spot for them, but it does look like Wildcard has sort of been able to somewhat sneak their way in. Sharpshot in the building. Tumai having a small comment to himself as well. But look at this. The circle is done shrinking. Look at the bottom right side, that one there. It is not going to be shrinking for a next couple of minutes. This is going to be really up to the teams to seeing, all right, can we find any picks? Can we push anyone? If no, then I guess we're just going to wait for the shrink and see what happens. 8 alive. The circle is done shrinking. I have not seen something like this ever with so many teams still up.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy still, but remember in the recent patch, we did just have a decrease in the amount of time it took for the final circle to end up closing. And so it's not going to be another 5-minute standoff. Still, ooh, good sharp shot. Nope, Tony V is prone on the ground, doesn't spot anything, but does suspect someone to be in that building. In fact, is considering taking out a grenade, I think. Those bars are going to make that a little tricky if he wants to go for that. But nonetheless, he's holding an angle on that position because he knows Tony needs to make the run out, and that's going to be an easy way for his team to climb at least one more position. But looking at Dare in this, there's still 3 up. They still have a huge priority, and there's a big chance that this ending is going to be an open field. And so they can just leave. They can leave one per. To be fair, shoot to kill can do the same thing.
I'm really liking tactically the spot for wildcard. Tumai has the most accessible cover later in the game, but it's really hard to discount the advantage that Duel has with how many players they have up. The circle has shown itself 10 seconds before the shrink. Not sure where it's going. It's gonna be dead center. Where are we? Who is gonna be moving first? Where are they gonna be going? Let's find out.
Pop those energy drinks, pop those pills, boys, and Pentalo gets the opening frag, gets the opening finalized kill, and Wildcard, it's just one left for them, and then Wooly and Zark, they're coming in, tossing a couple grenades, but that grenade's gonna bounce off the edge. Don't worry, don't hit yourself, but Pentalo is rushing forward. Wooly does get taken out. Sprays continue to come through, holding those angles. No one wants to leave. This blue, it closes dead center now with the new update, and it closes very, very slow. And so it gives options for teams to have to come in. Uncivils jumps down the stairs. They definitely heard that. Wooly trying to crawl forward into the open to spot anything else. Sharp shot, taking so much damage, and a final tick of the play zone. It's all that's needed. Protege gets actually breached by Snark, but the play zone is too much for him as well.
Oh my god.
And because of that, it is going to be shoot to kill with the #1 finishing game #1.
Shoot to kill just won the final zone with Uncivilized using blue tanking strats. Everyone else was so worried about fighting. There was like, all right, we gotta get in position. We gotta go in the zone somehow. Well, Uncivilized was just like, all right, I got meds. I'm not really worried about this. I just gotta sit here, let everyone else take the fights. Everyone just got massacred trying to leave their buildings, and it was left up to shoot to kill, who had previously just busted Northern Pachinki in between some really smart plays, some good placement of their squad, as well as the exact right time to bring the blue tanking strat in. They are able to take first place here in game 1 of the APL NA series.
Absolutely. We're going to throw it to a break while we get game #2 set up. Don't go anywhere because we have 3 more games going on tonight to see who is going to be at what position when we go to the grand finals this weekend. Don't go anywhere.